Villarreal, under Unai Emery, are in the Champions League knockout stages as they save their best until last in the group stages in order to qualify for the round of 16. And now, as they get ready to face Juventus, as well as continuing their form in LaLiga, hoping for Europe once again, we have a great one-on-one with their main star, the fearless Arnaut Danjuma. We talk about his time in Spain, looking ahead to the Champions League, life outside the game, and much more. Qué Golazo one-on-one with Arnaut Danjuma begins right now. You like that laugh, Arnaut? Did you like my intro, Arnaut? Normally people don't appreciate it. How are you, buddy?
Thank you for having me. And I've never had an intro like that before, so that was quite impressive.
Well, listen, you've never had that intro before, and you deserve it, my friend. You've been lighting it up. So thank you so much for being part of the show. How are you these days?
I'm good, to be fair. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to have you. Obviously, here at CBS Sports in the U.S., we have the rights to the Champions League. So we've been following not just your time in La Liga, but also, with Villarreal in the Champions League. You lit it up, of course, against Atalanta in that last game of the group stages. Before we get into it, Arnaut, tell me how you feel it's been going for you at Villarreal. How are you feeling there in Spain?
I think the results speak for itself. I feel really good. I wouldn't be able to perform if I wouldn't feel good. So I'm really grateful to be here. It's not difficult to get used to the weather, to be fair, so that's fine. I've been really enjoying my time so far, and really grateful for the opportunity that the club gave me. And I'm trying to do my best to replicate and move forward again and improve myself as well.
Arnaut, you're a very smart man. You speak many languages. I remember your time in Bournemouth. You were taking Arabic classes, of course, English, Dutch. You're half Nigerian as well. But how's your Spanish these days? Tu español, Arnaut Danjuma. How is it?
Hablo un poquito español, pero es muy difícil ahora también.
¿Estás tomando clases, Arnaut Danjuma? ¿Estás tomando clases? Are you taking classes?
Sí. Tengo sesiones. Tengo sesión.
¿Sí?
Tengo sesión, pero es muy difícil.
I'm putting you on the spot, brother. Don't worry about it.
Un poco más todo el día, ¿no?
Todo el día. Muy bien. No, very impressive, my friend. So everybody, if you're not a Villarreal fan or you don't follow Arnaut Danjuma's career, how dare you? Born in Nigeria, but playing for the Netherlands. Let's talk a little bit about the national team for a second. Arnaut, was there ever a temptation to represent the Super Eagles, do you think? Because you were born in Nigeria, you left there when you were young. How do you see that? Did by the way, Samuel Chukwueze ever give you any grief over the decision of not playing for Nigeria?
Yes, he did, to be fair. Not only him, but a lot of Nigerians, to be fair. Was there any temptation? Obviously there is, because I'm still half Nigerian and I'm still born in Nigeria, and I still have the culture with me. My family still practices the culture as well. So there's always temptation. But I knew from a very young age that my goal was to represent the Netherlands, and that's what my aim was. And that's why, even though a couple of years ago when it was difficult for me and I had a tough time in my career and they didn't call me up, I still tried my best to perform and improve myself so I could represent the country again one day, and it happened. So I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously not massive part of Frank de Boer's time, but Louis van Gaal has shown a lot of faith in you. What's it been like working under him?
Oh, very impressive, to be fair. Obviously, it's one of the best coaches that we have in world football nowadays. He has so much experience, so it's very good for me to perform under a coach like that, because it made me want to improve myself, and there's so much to learn from a coach like that with so much experience. So far so good. I haven't had a lot of time with him because I just played a couple of games under him yet. But so far it's just really good for me to experience what it's like to be managed by a coach of his profile.
So obviously we're in a World Cup year. Arnaut, what's the mood like in the Netherlands camp? Of course, after failing to make it for 2018, what's it like these days?
Very good. We can't complain. But then again, we're not just going there to compete. You need to perform as well. So we are grateful for, but not satisfied yet. We've got a very good set of players now, and I think we can put quite a big performance on there.
Absolutely. And we, of course, wish you the very best of luck. We're going to get into Villarreal and the Champions League in a second, and you, of course. But I'm wondering, because, Arnaut, you're a man that's, your career has taken you to different places, right? Playing in the Netherlands, of course, Belgium, England, of course, with Bournemouth, and now Spain. Is it easy for you, Arnaut, or challenging, adapting to different cultures, lifestyles, languages? How do you find that?
I find it exciting, to be fair. It's just the way, as you said, it's exciting. And whenever something's exciting for me, I grab the opportunity with both hands and I make the best out of it. I don't mind living in different countries at all. I like the experience. I like what it brings to me. And I like the challenges, to be fair. I've lived in the Netherlands, Belgium, England, Spain now. Just different cultures, different people, so much more to learn, different styles of playing, different people, different managers. I just always embrace stuff like that because my innate personality is to win at all costs, and I just feel like whatever football brings me, there's always so much more for me to learn, especially when you travel across Europe so far for me.
Yeah, there is something that you just said right there that's very interesting to me. And like I said, I've obviously watched you play through the years and been watching you in certain interviews and stuff. I mean, when you're on the pitch, man, like you're just fearless. There's such an aggressive, confident way of style. But I feel now that part of it comes because of your faith, right? You're a very grounded individual, somebody that takes his Muslim faith very, very, very seriously and helps you be grounded. Do you think that that's a massive part of who you are?
Yeah, thank you for calling me grounded. I'm not sure if I'm grounded.
You're not grounded.
I try to be, but it's good hearing it for someone else. That means that I'm doing something good, isn't it?
You're in your 20s, Arnaut Danjuma. I'm not saying that you're like quiet and don't do anything, but you seem like a very grounded person. Am I wrong, Arnaut Danjuma?
No, you don't have to take it back. No, that was a nice compliment to receive.
I don't take it back.
No, it's my religion is a foundation in my life for me. It's given me a lot in life. I'm a firm believer of it as well, and it's just something that's really important to me myself because it's just my backbone. It's everything for me. I feel like if I lose my religion, I lose everything. It taught me so much through the years. It brought me so much through the years. So yeah, I can't really put it into words how important it is for me.
No, I think you did that. All right, let's focus a little bit on your football. Let's talk about Villarreal. I know the fans well, I know the country well, but you live there now. How do you compare it? How do you like living there? It's a very unique club with a lot of history. What makes it so special, do you think?
It's a very warm club. It's how do I put it into perspective? It's a very if you look to the owners, they're a family as well, and they replicate that in the club. You can from the first day that I came, you can just feel that the club is really warm. It's like a family club. Everyone's willing to help each other. Everyone's looking after each other in multiple ways. And I think that Villarreal really, or I should say Villarreal now.
Very good, Arnaut. Very good.
It really distinguishes itself from other clubs, to be fair.
So after a tough start to the season in La Liga, the club now is enjoying a little bit of a good run, obviously going through, international window as we tape, but it's been going through a pretty, good run as of late. Do you think, because we're looking at Sevilla and how well they're doing, trying to catch up to Real Madrid and Barcelona with their inconsistency and so much, do you think it's a massive realistic expectation for you to even get top four, or is it harder, do you think, these days?
No, I think that's a realistic expectation. In terms of expectations, 100%. Whether we'll make it, that's up to us. But if you look to the quality we have, to the manager we have, to the size of what the club is, we should definitely compete at least for the top four. I would 100% agree with you on that. We've dropped a couple of points at the beginning of the season, to be fair. But if you look to the table, we're not that bad. We're not really far from the top four.
No, you're not far off at all. No.
Yeah, we're not far off at all. So we fought ourselves back to it, and there's still a lot to play for as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's only February. And, as we look at the table, like you said, 732 points, but not far away from Champions League at all. You were recovering from an ankle injury. How's that going for you?
That's fine. I'm training completely with the team again. There was a minor setback. I'm happy to be back. It just, there's never a good time to be injured. So I'm just happy to be back now.
Awesome. That's awesome. And of course, as we mentioned at the very top of the show, the Champions League, my friend, round of 16. Everybody, I'm sure, is very excited. You've scored 4 goals already in the campaign and 2 in Bergamo, 3-2 win against Atalanta to help secure that last 16 spot. Talk to me about that game, that night, and the campaign as a whole. How's it feeling to be in the Champions League with Villarreal? Because Atalanta, like, that's a very overwhelming, intoxicating stadium, right? How did it feel to play that game and in the Champions League?
The Champions League is the highest platform of international club football. So that's ultimately where you want to show yourself. That's ultimately where you want to prove yourself as well. So, it speaks for itself. Whenever the Champions League is, whenever you just hear the chant on the pitch, you just want to give it your all. I think so far we've been performing all right in the Champions League. And I think we proved it against Atalanta as well, that as long as we stay true to ourselves and we stay close to our DNA, that we can handle business with everyone. It's just difficult, obviously, because it's a tournament-wide game, so it's completely different than the league. So you never know what happens, so you always need to be on your toes and be switched on. But in terms of how it's going now, I think we've done a very great job, and looking forward to playing Juventus now in Feb.
Well, that's where I'm going next, my friend. From ending the group stages against an Italian team to starting the knockout stages with another one, and haven't been quiet in the January transfer window. Dusan Vlahovic, of course, moving to Juventus, some other players. How do you fancy your chances against Bianconetti, the old lady there?
As I said earlier, I feel like even in the group stage, we played against bigger clubs. In that sense, we played like Manchester United is a big club, and I feel like we played at Old Trafford. We played a very good game. We lost the game, but in terms of the way we played, I feel like we should have won. So it just shows as long as we stay true to ourselves and we stick to our DNA, we're just playing good football. We know what we're capable of. Unai is a strategy mastermind. So as long as we stick true to our DNA, I feel like we can beat everyone. You just always need to be obviously switched on because of the tournament. And you play in the highest platform of football, so the details will make the difference. So if you sleep for a minute, you'll get 3 goals again. So you need to be switched on and make sure that you perform as well. Yeah, 100%.
Arnaut Danjuma, help me with something, okay? I'm talking to you, our first time chatting. You're a very personable, human being. On the pitch, you are scary as hell. You have no fear. Why is it? I feel like there's a Jekyll and Hyde here, a sort of Incredible Hulk, where you're like very quiet and normal in real life, but on the pitch, you transform yourself. Am I right? Do you do something in the dressing room before kickoff that to psych you up?
Not really. Football is just my life. So
yeah,
I guess I'm a confident guy. I know what I'm capable of, and I just take every new game as if it's my first game that I'm ever gonna play, and as if it's my last game that I'm ever gonna play. So before every game, I just try to put myself back into the mentality of when I played my first football game and when I played the most important games in my career, and as if it's my last game of my career. I always try to make sure that my belly is never still, that I've always still have got hunger for the next game, and I'm very eager to still score goals and still eager to compete, because I feel like once that's gone, you will drop in quality. So I try to always get myself into a very
focused mindset,
and a focused mindset as well.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I've heard before some players that you looked up to when you were a kid. I want to hear it from you. Is there anybody when you were growing up that you really looked up to, playing wise?
Yeah, a lot though.
Give me a list, man. We're not going anywhere. Tell me.
Yeah, but I feel like you've got a player and I need to guess which player I
No,
said now.
no,
So.
no. What do you think I'm saying? I mean, okay, I'll tell you what. The interview that I'm thinking about was when you were at Bournemouth and you were saying some Premier League players. So already you know where I'm going with this. There's a few that remind me of you. It's a very big compliment. Who do you think I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure, but the player that I admire a lot in the Premier League was Thierry Henry back then.
There you go.
Is it?
Ding, ding,
See,
ding, 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 ding.
ding,
Excellent.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
And but there, I mean, when I was young, I watched every game of football that I could watch. So I've got a lot of people that I learned from when I was young. A lot of people that I still learn from, and I feel like watching a lot of games definitely helps you improve your own game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was also watching how you come back home and you tape the games that you played and you try and figure out like what you did right, what you did wrong. Somebody that did that a lot was also Didier Drogba. That's another player I feel like you liked as well. What about that? Robert Pires as well, maybe Arnaut Danjuma. I mean, the Villarreal connection.
I mean, playing with big players always opens my mind up because I just get happy whenever you play with good players because it just opens your mind to a new way of playing and just open your own style of play. If you look to the way that I played at Bournemouth, you look to the way that I play now at Villarreal, there's just a massive change in the way that I play as well. I've improved so much in such a short amount of time. So I feel like as long as you look to the right people, you play with the right people, and you always try to better yourself. There's just so many ways to improve yourself in football, and that's why I always try to do.
Yeah, well said. We're nearly done here, Arnaut Danjuma. Thank you for being part of CBS Sports, Qué Golazo, and HQ. A few more questions. I had one specifically about Unai Emery. I'm a very big fan of his. I think he's a very resilient manager, somebody that doesn't really listen to the outside noise and just gets on with it. Obviously, success in Europa League. What's it like to work under Unai Emery?
Oh, that's
an easy question.
Yeah, I mean he was a main reason of why I came to Villarreal as well. Definitely, I spoke with him before I came to Villarreal. His vision, his plan, the way that he plays, the way that he presents himself, that all together got me going to Villarreal very early and very quickly. I can't explain I can't explain to you in words how good he is in terms of strategy, in terms of making his players better, in terms of making the whole team perform on the pitch. And he's been massive for me, and he said it from the beginning. And to be fair, he's proved it to me as well because I've been performing very well under him. And he's still working on me on a day-to-day basis, still trying to improve me. There's so much I learned from him, such a short amount of time, that I'm just very eager to see what the upcoming weeks, days, months are going to bring me. It's such a big blessing for me to be part of this team and work with him on a day-to-day basis. There's so much that I learned from him that I can't put it into words.
No, I think you kind of did. It was great to hear that. All right, let's end it with this. I've kind of asked you already, but I want to hear it again. Villarreal, they are the underdogs. In many ways, they're kind of always the underdogs, and yet you always just keep going and going and going. And now you're facing, of course, Juventus. You mentioned Unai Emery. He's so specific with his management. Do you already have a plan on how you can beat a giant like Juventus? Do you think home advantage, for example, is that a major part? Because that first leg is, of course, in Spain. Do you have a plan already how you can beat Juve?
I'm not sure we have a plan, but I'm pretty sure Unai has it already set The thing is, although the Champions League game is such a big game for me personally, but for the entire team, the entire club, you still don't want to focus on it too much until the game's actually there, because there's still a lot of big games coming up in LaLiga, and as mentioned earlier, we still want to get up high in the table of the league as well. So the focus not only on the Champions League, the focus on LaLiga as well, and make sure that we perform in the league. But I'm pretty sure that Unai has guys set off plans already, and that he knows what we're going to do against Juventus. But as I mentioned earlier, as long as we're confident, we stick to our DNA, Unai comes up with a master plan, then anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Arnaut Danjuma, Villarreal against Juventus in the Champions League round of 16. Absolutely very, very impressive. Keep learning that Spanish, my friend. It's getting there. Remember, Villarreal, none of this Villarreal, right?
Yeah, true. That's the biggest mistake I made at the beginning.
I love it. Hey, Arnaut Danjuma, thank you so much for being part of the show, my friend, and the best of luck for the rest of the season.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Qué Golazo Pod, YouTube, of course, and CBS Sports and CBS Sports app. We will have a great time with Arnaut Danjuma watching him against Juventus in the Champions League and the remainder of La Liga. Have a great rest of your day.